Hi everyone, it's Joel from Productions², and back with some more Skyrim. I went back after last night. Noticed how it said there was content missing. I went back through and looked, and actually, there were several mods that had been deactivated. I don't know why. But I reactivated them and rebuilt my level lists with Rybash to include all the mods I thought maybe might be pertinent to it. But there was a lot of stuff that was turned off, like the music overhaul and a lot of stuff. So that might have been why it was saying that there was stuff missing. So when we last left off, we were interrogating. No, not really. We were talking to the guys, all the other mage apprentices in the Hall of Attainment. We're gonna go ahead and continue with that.
Greetings.
Bloody lag. That's interesting. I can't stand third person mode. Or first person. Strange.
Good to see Skyrim still has such fine people. You give a man hope.
She's also naked. That's interesting. Wonder how that happened.
I'm not sure what just happened, but I assure you I will get to the bottom of it.
Midden though, let's see. That we can find down here. There's actually several places you can access it at. One of them is, well, not here. Then where is it? I know it's around here somewhere. There's a, maybe it's in the other area, that's where it's at. It's in the other, quarters. There's also like a trapdoor or something. Damn, what's going on with it? Over here. Against a wall somewhere. Yeah, here. This thing here. That goes to the midden as well. Stuck in first person. Let's see, mod configuration settings. Version of HUD. Save on key. Nothing here. Suggest anything about that. Might just need to restart or something. That's fine. I guess we can play in third person for a little while here. It's not really conducive to archery though. Or should I say archery is like 1,000 times harder. This is the midden now. It's like a abandoned part of the college. Hall of Countenance. Yeah, so that goes up to the Hall of Countenance where the instructors, most of the other instructors stay at. Alright, I'm gonna start a little bit from a save a little bit earlier. It's gonna be the autosave when we first entered into the Hall of Attainment. We'll see what if the third screen thing still doesn't work or not. Could just be a bug from the save file. No, we're still stuck in. Damn, I'm gonna go ahead and try enabling something real quick here. Alright, so I managed to get it fixed. What happened was, apparently there's a bug with Dawnguard where there's a setting in the save files that will get stuck, that will stick you in third-person mode, and you won't be able to get back out of it. There's a fix for it on Nexus Skyrim Nexus by Darken DE, I believe, called, I think it's called Dawnguard Third-Person Fix. It's just a batch file that you drop a save file onto, and if it can fix it, it fixes it, and you get back into third-person mode. Just gonna put back on Volsung.
If you have a moment, could you help me with something? I still need some help, if you can spare the time. Huh? That sounds ominous. Are you getting yourself into even more trouble? Did you ask Mirabelle? She runs things around here after all. We're all trying to become better mages, right? Well, I need someone I can practice a few spells on. Nothing dangerous, really. Would you be willing to assist me? No, not that kind of spell. Believe me when I say I wouldn't be asking if it weren't necessary. Oh, good. I was afraid I'd have to go ask J'zargo. Now, you just stand there. Please hold still, and don't move. There! Now oh dear. That wasn't supposed to happen. Do you feel all right? You look very, green. I am so very sorry. I went over this again and again, and I was sure it would have better results. It's not. It shouldn't be. You'll be back to normal in no time. And when you are, we can try this again, and I'll be sure to get it right. All right then.
Speaking of Mirabelle, that's Eleanor.
Greetings. Hello, I'm Master Groshev's apprentice, Eleanor. While I've been trained in the library arts, my responsibilities are limited to my vocation. If something were to happen to the Master, I would take over as librarian, which, at this rate, will be anywhere between someday and never. Not until Master Groshev retires or passes on. I know he looks old. Well, because he is. Way too old for an orc. I'm convinced he's immortal. Sometimes I think Master measures time by the era, which means unless I start a competing library, I'm stuck being an apprentice forever.
Really? I meant it as a joke, given how absurd it would be to have a library with no books or building. But it's cute that you thought I was serious.
What the hell? This must be one of the 30 NPCs.
Then I wouldn't be a librarian, now would I? Just the one. Let's just say Neria and Ferelda are having Surges enchant more than just items. Neria and Ferelda are Ultimer. They may not look it, but Surges is probably half their age. Now hush, before you get me into trouble for spreading gossip.
Let's see.
Thanks. Come by any time.
I still need some help, if you can spare the time.
No one's heard from the Physic Order in so many years. Hard to believe one would just suddenly show up here. I've never heard of anything like that. Did you ask Tolfdir? He's been here a long time and seems to know almost everything. All right, then. Yes, but it needs to be kept quiet. I may have entered into an agreement with Enther. He had something I needed, so I traded him something of mine. It was a mistake, and now I want back what I gave him. It's an amulet that belonged to my family, and I never should have given it to Enther. But he won't deal with me. Talk to him. See what it'll take to get my amulet back.
I'm not sure what just happened, but I assure you I will get to the bottom of it. I have many important things on my mind. The what? No, I'm quite sure I have no idea what you're talking about. I suggest you mind your own business and return to whatever it is you do here.
Annoying you is my business, though, as I mentioned before.
Can you possibly help Jazargo?
Just
You are new, yes? Have you mastered the expert level distraction spells yet? This is good. But Jazargo will know them first. It is good to finally be around mages who may be able to keep up with Jazargo. The what of what? No idea. If it is important, maybe Tolfdir knows. He seems to know a lot. Jazargo has seen that Tolfdir likes you. You must be very skilled with magic, yes? Jazargo is working hard, but cannot do it alone. Can you help with this? Jazargo has worked hard on learning new spells, trying new things. This will make Jazargo stand out as a mage. But Jazargo works so hard, there is no time to test these new spells. If you help with the testing, this will make learning easier. Jazargo will give you scrolls. You will use them and report the results. This is a good plan, no? You tell Jazargo when you are ready. Ha! You can resist, can you? Let's see. This one, I think. Jazargo has designed it to be an excellent flame cloak, with a twist. It is especially potent against the undead, and should burn them to a crisp in no time. Jazargo gives you plenty of these scrolls, so you try them and return when you can say whether they work.
I wish I had
Jazargo
something.
will get word of how well his scrolls work.
I wish I had something maybe like voice control, if you will. For example, you could choose an option to talk about by just
Good
saying
to see Skyrim still has such fine people. It's always encouraging to see the younger generations embracing education.
Let's go find the well, Mirabelle might be up here. Let's go talk to everybody about it first.
Please don't bother the Archmage unless it's absolutely necessary.
Oh, really?
If there are any problems, let me know. It's my job to keep things running smoothly.
And I forgot to mention it. I did have, while I was remaking the Bast patch, trying to figure out what was causing that, I did find some interesting things that I'm trying out here, and that is some tweaks to the game that you can make with Rybash. Right now what I have going is that arrow recovery I increased from 30% to 70%. What that means is that the chance that you have to be able to recover an arrow out of a corpse of one of your enemies after you kill them. Arrow speed I upped to 1.2%. Maximum summons I put that to 2 so I can summon 2 creatures at once, and training was another one. Before you can only get 8 levels in training, I'd switch, or 5 levels in training, I'd switch that to 8, and we're gonna see how that stuff works.
That's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Very well. It's not something often discussed, as it might be misunderstood by the locals. The Auger is down in the midden, below the college. I don't recommend going down there unless it's absolutely necessary.
Let me give you a bit of advice. You want to work on something that's not officially allowed? Don't tell anyone you're doing it. You need something you're not officially supposed to have? You come see me. You tell anyone that I told you, and I'll fry you from the inside out. Got it? Huh? Good. Even with the college's laid-back attitude, there are still some things that are off limits. Purposely killing your fellow college members is a bad idea. I'd advise against it. Theft and assault can get you into trouble as well. As for research, well, a sufficient explanation will cover almost anything. If you're going to need live test subjects for your experiments, it's easier to do that off of college grounds. Oh my, how precious. Onmund is too afraid to deal with me himself, and so he's sent you. I'll make this very simple for you. All my trades are final. Onmund knew this ahead of time and went through with it anyway. So there's nothing more to be said. No, you're not understanding this. Onmund made a deal. He made that choice, and now he has to live with it. I've already made it very clear that all of my trades are final.
Blah, blah, blah.
Look how persistent you are. It's charming, really. Onmund gave up the first time I said no, but not you. All right, I'll tell you a little story. Let's pretend for a moment that a certain individual was looking to acquire a particular staff. Let's also pretend that he traded some valuable items for said staff. And it was only later that it was realized that this individual might misuse such a staff. The resulting disaster would reflect quite poorly on everyone involved. Are you following me? You're not very good at this, are you? Look, I traded a staff to someone and found out later that was a bad idea, so I'd like the staff back. Understand now?
What happened to, what happened to your all trades are final policy?
It's an entirely different situation. I don't expect you to comprehend the nuances of these matters.
I call bullshit.
Regardless, I'm making you a very simple offer. You get me the staff, and I give you Onmund's precious amulet. Do we have a deal?
Fine.
Yes. I thought we'd gotten past that bit already. Onmund's amulet in exchange for my staff. Finally, we have an agreement. I look forward to having it back soon. The sooner the better, in fact. I hope you've got some coin. Let's just take a look, then.
Danger hearts. I'll take them danger hearts off your hands. Holy crap. I'll take 1 grand soul gem. Oh, they're actually filled, aren't they? That's why they cost so much. I say, what the hell? Scroll of Firestorm. There are some spells you need to be careful of using, like Fire Cloak, because they actually hit everything around you, not just the enemies.
All right, then.
And if you'll notice, Lydia's back to being her old weird self
Even
again.
with the college's laid-back attitude, there are still some things that are off. There are some experiments the college frowns on, if they're aware of them, of course.
I'm working on some very important research, I assure you. He asked far too many questions about my research. I think the Thalmor are trying to steal my work. I haven't told him anything, of course. What I'm doing is far too important. Can't breathe a word of it. You mean the official sort of business? Well, no. No, not really. But I can't help but notice that you're doing quite well for yourself. Rising through the ranks and all. It may not be official, but there is a project I've been working on. I wonder if perhaps you could assist with it. Yes. No, I don't think so. Not at this point. It's just that, well, I'm not even really sure it's going to amount to anything just yet. All theoretical right now, you understand? But the implications are quite intriguing, I think. I simply need some experimental results to confirm my suspicions. Just bring me some Dwemer cogs. I need to examine them for the methods used in forging them. 10 of them should be enough for me to get a better understanding of how they were crafted. That's all I need, all right?
Of course, he goes through and asks you for much more stuff after that.
Oh, there was a great rumble outside this morning. Did you feel it? Surely it must have been a giant riding a carriage, or a flying ship. Yes, but that's far too ordinary. Maybe not yesterday, but now, very much so. Unless it was a water dragon. A dragonfish whose breath was steam. Of course, it's more fish than dragon, and more bug than fish. It feasts on wood, and its diet consists solely of mortal-made ships. Strange. Master Drevis and Tolfdir also use that word. I don't like to think I'm imagining things. I like to think it's all undiscovered. The field of unknown and undiscovered magic. It seems odd that there are only 5 schools. There should be at least 500. How else can you explain all the magical phenomena in this world? Doomstones, alchemy, and dragon shells, for instance. Those can't be categorized by any of the 5 schools, and I still don't understand why the Council chose to conflate conjuration and mysticism. Master Colette said even restoration might be stripped of its status. Can you believe such a travesty? If anything, we need an additional school to account for the differences in classical restoration and Adric shrine magic. But Magnus's imprint is everywhere. Some say it was he, not Lorcan, who made the world. His departure made the sun, and when plants use it to grow, they use magic. All the energy on Mundus is related to Magnus in some form. Sometimes, if you look at the sun, I bet you could see Magnus himself, poking his head back to see how we're doing. Not that I'd ever try it. Looking at the sun, you'll go blind. Of course, I've been talking with Master Colette about a ward spell to do just that. I don't know if it's possible. You would need a powerful ward spell to fend off the glare of a god. Maybe if he used his staff. Oh, plenty. Although they all sort of relate to magic in one way or another. For instance, I was trying to build a more secure coin purse by trapping your gold inside a soul gem. It was a bit tricky getting the conjuration trap to recognize inanimate objects as souls, but a dash of blood and harmonizing the resonance did it. The problem was getting the gold out. I tried enchanting a couple of wooden coins using the gem, but they lost the imperial markings. Oh, that would work, although engraving them would be too difficult. You can't just use an imprint like with metal. But I've heard there are these beetles in Black Marsh, mirror beetles they're called, that learn to chew tough bark by watching their mothers. If we could train these beetles to chew in a pattern that matches a septum, no, it's brilliant. Oh, all the time. Especially at the college where magical energy is strong. Floating objects like books, soul gems, and silverware for one. You really have to watch where you're going or you might run your eye into a fork. Then there's the multiplying fruit. Master Drevis thinks the several hundred apples he found in his pillow was a prank. I think it was a rare form of spontaneous cloning. Clearly some type of plant-based magic, like an evolved form of alchemy. I bet in places like Valenwood there are all sorts of carnivorous plants that use magic to capture their prey. Like a plant with invisible fangs on its fronds, trapping birds and insects who stop to rest their weary wings. Or how about a talking plant who uses magic to mimic speech? A stamen is almost like a tongue. Then you get real close and the fangs chomp you. That is, if the mud monsters don't get you first. Plants must have some version of the undead, raised from the ground by magical spores and such. All right then.
That's our deal. So, anybody else around up here? Well, this goes up to the top, I think. Yeah. Wait, who's this?
Even with the college's attitude, there are still some things that are off limits.
So, actually I think that's everybody. No, I guess that's not everybody. There are some others. I was gonna go talk to her since her thing wore off, but I'll get back to her on that. Right, so A for first person. First person's good and all for, you know, using melee weapons, but
Mirabelle does a fine job as Master Wizard, I suppose. Still, there's always room for improvement. I can teach you, but I won't be held responsible for what you do with the knowledge.
yeah, blah blah blah. Yep, C8. Not enough to go all the way through there, though. Alright then. Who's this?
All right then.
Colette.
You consider restoration a valid school of magic, worthy of study, don't you? Don't you? Good. Good. Not that I require validation, of course. There are just some, and I shan't name names, who would disagree. It can make life difficult when one's colleagues fail to recognize the research one engages in. Well, no, not really. Not directly, I mean. But I know things are being said behind my back. Conversations cease when I enter rooms. I'm quite aware of what's going on here, and I will not stand for it.